The Royal Aircraft Factory F.E.2b. The F.E.2b was a slightly simplified version of the F.E.2a that was produced in quantity by firms embarking on aircraft production for the first time. The principal contractors were Boulton & Paul Limited and J&G Ware Limited. The F.E.2b had no air brake, its wing structure being identical with that of the 11th F.E.2a. The trailing edge of the center section therefore extended over its complete span, but the chord was a little less than that of the wing panels. The absence of the air brake flap led to a revised disposition of the elevator control cables, and a straight-sided gravity tank which was attached directly to the underside of the upper port wing. As on the F.E.2a, armor plate was fitted to the nacelle. That the design was known as early as August 1915 is suggested by a note in the Royal Aircraft Factory flight book. The first production F.E.2b, number 5201, was at Farnborough in mid-October 1915. It was of the batch 5201 to 5250, ordered from Boulton & Paul. First of the F.E.2bs built at the Royal Aircraft Factory itself, number 6328, was recorded on the 3rd of December 1915. But the aircraft of the first Weir-built batch, 4256 to 4291, did not begin to appear until February 1916. The early F.E.2bs were powered by the 120 horsepower Beardmore engine and had wings of RAF 6 section. It is probable that a few of the first F.E.2bs went to number 6 squadron, and it is known that at least 4 were sent to number 12 squadron RFC in February of 1916. This may have been done because of the threat to reconnaissance aircraft presented by the Fokker monoplane at that time. Otherwise, it was something of an anachronism, because the reconnaissance squadrons had in general ceased to have a few fighting scouts on their strength, and homogeneous fighting squadrons had been in existence for some time. One of these was No. 20 Squadron RFC, the first unit to be equipped throughout with F.E.2bs, which had arrived in France on the 23rd of January 1916. Enough FEs became available to equip No. 25 Squadron, which had arrived in France on the 20th of February 1916, and Squadrons No. 23 and 22, which followed on the 16th of March and 1st of April, respectively. By this time, the F.E.2b design had undergone modification. Wings of RAF 14 section had been standardized for the BE-2C in place of the original RAF 6 surfaces. Inevitably, the F.E.2b was given wings of the new type also. One of the first aircraft to have RAF 14 wings was No. 6354, which had been completed by the 25th of January 1916. In an attempt to improve performance, the 120 horsepower Beardmore was replaced by the 160 horsepower engine of the same make. The earliest recorded installation was made in No. 6357, which on the 21st of February 1916 had 160 horsepower Beardmore No. 600. Earlier that month, No. 6360 was completed with a 150 horsepower RAF 5 engine, and in April 1916, No. 4256 was also fitted with the RAF 5. This engine was a pusher version of the RAF 4. A small number were built by the Siddeley Deasy Motor Company, but it was never developed. The two F.E.2bs, numbers 4256 and 6360, remained at Farnborough as test-bed aircraft. Both were used in a series of tests of gyroscope bomb sights that started at the Royal Aircraft Factory in the summer of 1916. Number 4256 was still flying in March of 1918 when it was fitted with a twin Lewis gun mounting. References also exist to experimental installations of the 200 horsepower RAF 3A and the 170 horsepower RAF-5B engines in the F.E.2bs, but it is uncertain whether these were taken beyond the project stage. The RAF-5B was a development of the RAF-5 with enlarged cylinders of 150 mm bore. One source states that this engine itself was never completed. Slow and cumbersome though it was, the F.E.2b gave a warlike account of itself. In particular, it proved to be a match for the Fokker monoplane. The F.E.'s observer had an excellent field of fire in all directions, and the addition of one or more pillar-type gun mountings between the cockpits enabled him to fire above and behind the aircraft. The F.E.2b figured in many gallant combats before and during the battles of the Somme, possibly the best known being a fight over Annay on the 18th of June 1916, when Second Lieutenant G.R. McCubbin of No. 25 Squadron, with Corporal J.H. Waller as his gunner, attacked 3 Fokkers. One fell to Waller's fire. Its pilot was Max Immelmann, one of the earliest German fighting pilots to achieve fame by his combat victories. Various experimental installations were made in F.E.2bs. No. 6377 was fitted with a special mounting for a Vickers 1-pounder quick-firing gun. The subsequent history of this aircraft is not known, but the experience gained with it probably contributed to later operational work with heavy guns. On 17th of April 1917, No. 100 Squadron received 2 F.E.s with Vickers 1-pounder guns that it used with varying success for ground attack duties at night. An F.E.2b with a Vickers quick-firing gun was tested at Orfordness, and others armed with this weapon were used by home defense squadrons. Another attempt to fit heavier armament was made on No. 7001 in August of 1916. This F.E.2b was tested at Farnborough with a .45-inch Maxim gun. An experimental installation of a RAF wireless set was made in No. 4914 in June of 1916. And in October, No. 4928 was a test vehicle for a searchlight designed by S.R. Whittington for the Royal Aircraft Factory's Instruments and Wireless Department. A later experiment was made in May of 1917 with a Harley searchlight, which was of French manufacture. This light was mounted between 2 Lewis guns, the whole assembly being movable. The test aircraft was the Weir-built F.E.2b A781. Few modifications were made to the airframe proper, and it differed scarcely at all from the F.E.2a. One F.E.2b was flown with inversely tapered horn-balanced ailerons that increased the overall span to 50 feet 1 inch. And in January of 1917, an adjustable tailplane was fitted to No. 4846. Neither modification was developed. In squadron service, the undercarriage was frequently simplified by removing the nose wheel and its forward V-strut. Long-radius rods were fitted between the axle ends and the attachment points for the deleted V-strut. This modification added 1 or 2 miles per hour to the F.E.'s speed. Some F.E.2bs were allotted to home defense squadrons from the end of 1916. These units included squadrons number 33, 36, 38, 51, and 58. The F.E.'s poorer rate of climb and low ceiling made it an unsatisfactory aircraft for home defense duties. In an attempt to improve its performance, some squadrons converted F.E.2bs into single-seaters by fairing over the front cockpit. These aircraft had 1 Lewis gun, or occasionally 2, fired by the pilot. A few more ambitious modifications of the type had the single pilot's cockpit midway between the 2 normal seats. On these aircraft, a new top decking was fitted, and 2 fixed Lewis machine guns carried internally. The arrival of the new, fast and well-armed Albatros and Halberstadt fighters in the autumn of 1916 was the beginning of the end for the gallant old F.E. as a fighting aircraft. The F.E.2bs fought on doggedly until the spring of 1917. Finally, on the 3rd of April, 4 brigade orders said that F.E.2 aeroplanes were no longer to be used by themselves on offensive patrols. Thereafter, the daylight use of the type consisted mainly of photography, bombing, and line patrol work, usually under the escort of single-seat fighters. But as late as August of 1917, the FEs of No. 18 Squadron performed a good deal of ground attack work. By that time, the FE-2D had long superseded the FE-2b in numbers 20 and 25 squadrons, and No. 23 had become a single-seat squadron equipped with SPADs. The last aircraft were superseded in August of 1917, after which date the FE-2b's operational career continued with night bombing, anti-submarine, and home defense units. The F.E. was not a success as a home defense aircraft and was withdrawn early in 1918. About 800 F.E.2bs were built for fighter reconnaissance duties. But when it was found that the F.E. was well suited for night bombing duties, production was continued into 1917 and had to be expanded again in 1918. Maximum output had been 286 in the quarter ended 30th of June 1917, whereafter it diminished until the end of the year. In the first 3 months of 1918, only 15 were completed. Output went up again during 1918, but no fewer than 202 F-2bs were built in the last quarter of that year. It seems probable that the total output of 1,939 Fe-2bs quoted in the official statistics included night bombers made by converting earlier production aircraft. Certainly the official figure considerably exceeds the total represented by the batches of serial numbers allotted for the type. Outside of the night bombing squadrons, the Fe-2b ended its days at training units, teaching young observers their trade. Some of these aircraft had a scarf ring on a gunner's cockpit, and a V-type undercarriage of the kind standardized for the night bomber version of the type. Okay, I need to make a correction, and I hope this doesn't get to be a habit. In my last video, episode 41, I showed the wrong picture of a fuel tank that was actually from an Fe-2b. This was my mistake. They fooled me. Here's what the actual fuel tank looked like. Also, here's some actual footage from a video called The Battle of Arras. Here's somebody in their downtime having fun. And here is the only civilian Fe-2b.